Hi everyone, my name is Louise Sankey and it's been a while. I'm really happy to be uploading another video about blues harmonica. And today what I'm going to be doing is something I haven't been done before, which is to run through a piece of classic blues harmonica. And this is a piece of music I keep coming back to, and I think it's an amazing piece of music, and I think it's one of the hardest pieces of blues harmonica passages to play out there. And I encourage advanced players, beginners and intermediates to have a look at this. And what makes it so amazing and tricky is not the melodic complexity, it is the amount of expression that the player gets into with using a very few elements, and in particular the way the hands are used. And this piece of music is by the wonderful Big Walter Horton, and it is his version of Louise, which is on an album called An Offer You Can't Refuse, which has him on the first part and Paul Butterfield on the second part of the album. And I think it's a wonderful piece of music. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it for you, and then we're going to I will attempt to break it down. So check this out. Wow, so I just think that is an amazingly beautiful piece of harmonica. Now, he is playing in cross position on an A flat harmonica, so the key is in E flat. So a lot of you out there won't have an A flat harmonica, so for the purpose of this lesson I'm going to go through it in the key of E using an A harmonica. But if you are interested in playing along to this album, and it's a brilliant album, or some of the things that Walter Horton does when he's playing in the key of E flat, it's well worth investing in an A flat harmonica, even though it's a kind of more unusual key. So that is a spectacular piece of music, and I am still struggling, and will probably always struggle to play it. There are a number of things which make it very, very difficult. In particular, the amazing hand fanning which he does, but so consistent, so solid, it's incredible. So I'll run through it in the key of E, and then we'll kind of break it down, okay? So, sounds like this. Okay. So it's really, really difficult, and I have a long way to go to get this right. So it starts with this kind of wonderful chord on the 3 and the 4. And if you listen closely, he bends it down, and there's a little gap, and then he punches a root note, which is on the draw 2, or it could be on the blow 3. This is a lot of the kind of mystery of kind of working out what these players are doing. Now, a lot of you out there will know that Big Walter Horton is a player who plays tongue blocked, like myself and like many other players. Now, you can play this piece of music even if you don't tongue block. You can do all the hand fannings and stuff. Certain parts of it later on in the riff, in the 12 bars, he's using some kind of octaves and chords where you need to tongue block. But fundamentally, especially on the hand flutters, if you don't tongue block, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't preclude you from playing this. Obviously, if you do tongue block, that's great, and you can go for that bigger sound, etc. So we've got that bending down rather, 3/4 chord onto a punch note. Okay, now I did that with the blow 3 there, which is something we'll talk about as we go through, which is a nice sort of way of kind of mixing it up and getting some different sounds. Then followed on from that, we have this amazing hand flutter technique, and which I'll try and do. So you've got. Okay. Now, the way I'm doing that, obviously the bigger the chamber and the bigger the kind of contrast from a closed seal to an open seal, the bigger the kind of wah that you get. So one thing I try and think about when I'm doing this is I try and create this bigger chamber by holding the hands like this. Okay, something Joe Falisco showed me. And I think about this part of my hand sort of being slightly tense, and I'm tapping against it almost like thinking about it as a piece of wood, and keeping this hand slightly arced like that. And you can clap like that, or you can wave it, and it's really difficult to get the if you listen to what Walter Horton's doing. It's amazing. Okay, so okay, so that's the first part. And as you experiment with these fanning techniques, try and use them for your own creativity. So you kind of learn the masters, but then try and make your own thing from it. So I spent hours playing to this piece of music, trying to get a bit closer. But then when I'm doing my own thing, then I'm using my own kind of expression. And I really advocate that here. So then we go on to the 4 chord. And again, he hits one of these hand flutters, and he absolutely nails it. Totally consistent. And I think he's using the draw 2, but it's also worth experimenting with the blow 3, especially tongue blocked, just to see what a different sound it makes. So then you've got this. I'll play the 1 into the 4. Think about that. Hitting this edge. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's a cupping sound. And trying to get it consistent. But then contrast that with doing the same thing on a draw 2. Sounds totally different. Blow 3 tongue block. Draw 2 tongue block. Okay, so experiment with those 2 ways, and experiment with fanning where you're still kind of keeping this bottom part of your hand attached, or try almost like clapping, but you're keeping this hand still and you're just clapping with your free hand. Difficult to get it consistent. Definitely worth working at. Okay, so he's got this I think it's a bar, and then we go into the 5 chord, where he hits an absolute killer draw 3 whole step bend. Okay, and then he holds it, and then he puts this tongue block accent, and I think he rises it slightly up to the half step bend, or maybe even beyond, and he's kind of throwing out his hand to give it a bit of a wah. So it almost sounds like a kind of new note. Very difficult to describe what the accent note is in a way. So that section again. So on the 4 chord from the draw 2. Choke there. Very, very, very difficult. I don't think I've sort of got it exactly right either. And then he comes into the kind of 4-chord and turnaround, where he hits 2 sets of fanning wah-wahs on the draw 2 or the blow 3, but it's on the root note. And then he's got the turnaround lick, which I'll break down for a second. But the whole bit sounds like this. Okay? So, that turnaround lick is the draw 5, and he's hitting it as a kind of interval, tongue blocked. So he's doing the draw 5 like that with the draw 3. So he's going draw 5, blow 5, draw 4, blow 5, draw 5, blow 5, draw 4. Sounds like this. No. Right, it's the first part. Then he goes blow 4, draw 3, half step bend, the blue note, draw 2, whole step bend, draw 1 twice. So okay, and again. And he'll be doing that all tongue blocked. And if you listen to it, you can hear those kind of rushing, tongue slapping, percussive techniques that he gets in there by way of the fact that he's a tongue blocker. So okay, so let me play it all together, and just to give it a kind of flavour. But in particular, try and think about those hand fans and the clapping and the fanning technique, and trying to get that cupping sound and the consistency. It's an amazing piece of music. So once more. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. It's a very inspiring piece of music, and whether you're a beginner or you're an intermediate or an advanced player, this is something you can keep coming back to. And as you work out those expressions, those hand fanning techniques, they're a great thing to put in when you're playing acoustic blues, shuffles, slow blues and so on. And this is a great place to start learning that, and how much expression and tone and feeling he gets into essentially just 2 elements, the chord and the draw 2, or swapping that with the blow 3 is amazing. And you can fold that into your own your own expression when you're jamming or when you're in a band. Okay, thank you very much.